Let me tell you something. Nothing in life quite slaps you awake, like stepping outside, mug of stale coffee in hand, brain still foggy from some nightmare about overdue bills, and seeing that something important is just gone. I don't mean misplaced. I don't mean maybe I left it on the other side of the yard. I mean gone, poof, vanished like it never existed. That was me standing barefoot in my driveway in the crisp Arizona morning Cedar Ridge Estates just outside Mesa Verde, squinting at an empty patch of concrete where until yesterday there'd been a 16-foot trailer loaded with emergency rescue gear. Gone. Just the outline left on the concrete and a weird hollow feeling in my chest. And I'll be honest, my first thought wasn't panic. It was, okay, Ethan, you've officially lost it. You've cracked. This is it. You've finally fried your brain working 16-hour shifts, answering rescue calls in the middle of the night, and now you're hallucinating missing trailers. So I just stood there for a second, sipping burnt coffee, running the math in my head. Did I move it last week? Did I loan it to someone? Did I park it at the station? I walked down the sidewalk, peered up and down the street, nothing but parked SUVs and a rogue plastic flamingo. Back behind my pickup, nope, not a trace. That's when it hit me. Someone took it. Like actually took it. Not borrowed, not towed for street cleaning. Stolen. You ever feel your stomach just fall through the floor? Yeah, that's the feeling. Here's what you need to know about me. My name's Ethan Walker. By day, I'm a systems engineer, telecom stuff, nothing glamorous. Nights, weekends, holidays, whenever disaster hits, I'm a volunteer firefighter for Mesa Verde Rescue. 8 years, no paycheck pager, always buzzing. And the only thanks you get is a handshake from some guy whose shed you managed to save from the flames. And that trailer? It wasn't even mine. It belonged to the department. Inside portable generators, floodlights, backup power for medics, satellite comms, rescue tools. We're talking 20 grand of equipment easy. It lived at my house because I was closest to the canyon where things go wrong fast. If you need it yesterday. So now I'm staring at an empty driveway feeling like someone just punched me in the gut. I fumble for my phone call, Captain Reynolds. He answers on the third ring, voice groggy. Walker, this better be good, man. It's barely 6. Cap, someone took the trailer. Silence on the other end. Then took like stole, or you think the HOA had it towed again. And if you've ever tangled with a homeowners association, you know where this is going. 2 weeks earlier, bright yellow notice in my mailbox. Unauthorized commercial vehicle. I'd shot off an email right away, explained everything, attached department letterhead, photos, registration, even the chief's number. Their reply, 3 lines. Rules apply equally to all residents, no exceptions. Please comply within 14 days. Signed by Melissa Harper, HOA president. Yeah, remember that name? Reynolds sighs. All right, don't touch anything. I'm calling city legal. Meet me at the impound lot. I hang up and swear to God there's another fresh notice in my mailbox retrieval fee, $180. I just started laughing. Not because it was funny, because it was so nuts it felt like a prank. They towed a government rescue trailer and wanted me to pay for it. By the time I got dressed, Reynolds pulled up with Lieutenant Perez and City Attorney Lauren Kim. All 3 look fired up, lawsuit fired up, not coffee fired up. Reynolds leans out the window. Get in. We're about to educate some people. Lauren, City Attorney, fills me in as we drive. HOA boards in Arizona can control parking, landscaping, paint colors, but not municipal emergency assets. And the trailer clearly marked. That makes it even worse. Worse, how I ask. Criminal worse, she says, gripping her tablet like she's about to go full Phoenix Wright. We pull into Desert Valley impound, sun barely up, and there's the trailer parked way in the back, red decals catching the light. Rescue unit mocking me from across the yard. We walk into the office, smells like burnt coffee and lost hope. Kid behind the counter looks up, sees uniforms and a lawyer, and just about melts into his chair. Lauren flashes her badge, City Attorney. We're here for the illegally towed emergency trailer. The kid blinks. Let me get my manager. Out comes Ron, big guy, already sweating. Look, we just follow orders, he stammers. HOA authorized it. Lauren gives him a lawyer smile. Did you verify registration? He shakes his head. Notice the markings. Nope. Release it now. Ron hesitates, but Reynolds leans in real quiet. That trailer saves lives. You want to be the reason it doesn't get where it needs to go, Ron. 10 minutes later, we're hitching it up. No fee, no paperwork, just awkward apologies. And Lauren on the phone with words like municipal liability interference with emergency response and gross negligence. I knew it wasn't over. Back at the station, I inspect every inch, new scratches, document it, file the report. Then my phone buzzes text from Reynolds City Hall, 2 p.m. dress uniform. That's when I knew Melissa Harper was about to go to war and she had no idea what battlefield she'd picked. Let's hit pause here because this is the part most people skip over. This is where a run-of-the-mill bad day stops being bad luck and starts getting real predictable. CHO, as they're basically tiny kingdoms with a few limited powers. They can tell you your fence is the wrong shade of beige, fine you for parking an RV, write you up for an unapproved mailbox. But they're not law enforcement, they're not regulators, and they have no business touching government property. The minute Melissa's board greenlit that tow without checking ownership, they crossed from rule enforcement to property interference. In normal person English, they stole something that wasn't even mine to begin with. And here's where it gets interesting because this isn't about bylaws or technicalities, it's about psychology. Give a person a clipboard and some authority, and if you're not careful, they start thinking they're in charge of people, not rules. Melissa Harper had been HOA president for 6 years, unchallenged, re-elected even. No one ever said no. So for her, enforcing rules became proof of power. I tried to play nice, sent every document, dotted every I, but to her, that was me challenging her kingdom. And when people like that get challenged, they don't back down. They double down. They escalate. They convince themselves they're the hero protecting the community from what a rescue trailer. That's how little fiefdoms turn into full-blown disasters. It's not the rules. It's unchecked ego. By the time I'm standing outside the conference room at City Hall, I know 2 things for sure. 1, whatever happens next is going to be ugly. 2, Melissa Harper is not here to apologize. Folks like her never are. Inside, it's the kind of quiet you only get in government buildings, low voices, soft footsteps, air conditioning, humming, like it's trying to keep everyone calm. Reynolds and Perez are waiting full dress uniform, and Lauren's already inside papers spread across the table like battle plans. Deputy City Manager Thomas Avery, tall, gray-haired calm, in that I've fired people before breakfast kind of way, shakes my hand, tells me I did everything right. Means more than I want to admit. 9 sharp. Melissa walks in designer blazer hair, perfect phone in hand like she's live tweeting her own trial. Her lawyer Greg looks like he hasn't slept in a week. We sit. No small talk, no smiles. Avery opens. Mrs. Harper, your HOA acted illegally. Melissa calm as a lake. We enforced our covenants. No one's above the rules. Lauren slides forward a mountain of documentation, registration, assignment, department letterhead. Greg starts flipping through and you can see the color draining from his face. Melissa doesn't even blink. Anyone can print documents. Stickers don't make it official. Reynolds leans in. That sticker's a rescue designation. That trailer powers medical stations. It was staged for deployment. She snaps, wasn't saving anyone, just sitting there. Lauren keeps her voice steady. It doesn't have to be in use to be protected. The law recognizes staging. Melissa just scoffs convenient interpretation. That's when Avery sits up straight, voice suddenly sharp. Mrs. Harper, you have 2 options. 1, acknowledge the mistake, reimburse the towing company, agree never to interfere again, and this ends today. 2, we file criminal and civil charges. Theft of municipal property, interference with emergency services, financial damages. Greg leans in, whispers in a panic. Melissa sits back, arms crossed. I will not be bullied by the city. We'll see what a judge thinks. And that, as they say, was that. Within 24 hours, the city files suit. Civil damages, $52 grand. Criminal referral, emergency injunction. And Melissa, she goes nuclear. Emails to residents. Facebook rants, radio interviews crying government overreach, painting herself as a victim. Problem was, receipts exist. Lauren releases everything, emails, department letters, photos, the whole boring, damning truth. Local news runs the headline, HOA tows emergency equipment. Volunteer firefighter targeted. Neighbors stop waving to Melissa. Board members start jumping ship. Then came court. 3 weeks later, wood-paneled courtroom, Judge Ramirez presiding sharp, no patience for drama. Lauren lays it out, timeline, evidence, photos. Reynolds testifies about response delays. I talk about the emails I sent. Greg tries the old misunderstanding, good faith enforcement routine. Then Melissa takes the stand, swears up and down she acted for the community. Rules matter. Rules. Judge Ramirez just looks at her. Did you verify ownership? No. Did you contact the department? No. Did you receive written notice? Yes. And you proceeded anyway? Yes. The room goes so quiet you can hear the ceiling fan click. 10 days later, Lauren calls. We won. Damages, 47 grand and change. Permanent injunction, policy reform, special assessment, every household pays. Emergency meeting, yelling accusations, vote of no confidence. Melissa loses 71-4, but it's not over. The criminal case moves forward, different judge, more serious. Emails show intent. She knew she ignored, she escalated. Verdict, guilty, misdemeanor theft, probation, community service restitution. When I heard, I didn't celebrate. I just exhaled. After months of stress and tension, it was finally done. The trailer stayed. The new HOA board sent out a formal apology. New rules went up protecting volunteers and their equipment. Other neighborhoods copied them. Life started to look normal again. But honestly, things had changed maybe forever. Melissa wanted control. What she got was consequences. That's how power works. It's borrowed, not owned. And you know, after all that, once the headlines faded and the neighborhood stopped whispering, life went back to its regular grind. I went back to work, answered calls, hooked up that same trailer whenever lightning storms or hikers got themselves stuck somewhere stupid, paid my bills, yelled at my internet provider, just life. But I wasn't the same guy who stood barefoot with a mug of bad coffee and no clue what came next. Because here's the thing. Once you see behind the curtain, you realize how fragile fairness is, how easily it breaks when ego takes the wheel. The real lesson here, rules are only as good as the people holding the pen. HOAS. Government's any system, it works when folks are humble and transparent. When they're not, well, you just saw what happens. And here's another thing, if you're in a fight with your HOA, document everything. Emails, photos, every polite, boring message. Don't yell, don't threaten, paper trails save you. Not anger, not arguments, facts. Community isn't about everybody falling in line. It's about respect. Melissa thought she was protecting property values. What she did was crack trust, make neighbors suspicious of each other, and cost everyone money. The new board. They talk first, check, second, decide last. Surprise, property values didn't tank. Life just got a little quieter. If you're a volunteer, first responder, anyone with equipment parked at home because your job needs it, know your rights. Read the fine print. Keep your bosses in the loop. Never assume they'd never do that, because sometimes they absolutely will. And one last thing I learned a lot about courage. Not movie hero courage. Not running into fires. The kind where you show up, stay calm, answer every email, go to every meeting, trust the process, and refuse to turn bitter. That's the hardest kind, and it matters most. A year later, that trailer's still in my driveway, visible, legal, and ready. And every time I hook it up, I remember how close it came to being locked away because someone couldn't admit they were wrong. So if you're watching this, dealing with an HOA labeled difficult because you asked too many questions, remember, systems only work if people hold them accountable. Now I'm curious, have you ever had a run-in with an HOA? Did they help you or just make your life harder? Drop your story in the comments, I do read them. And if this helped, hit like, subscribe, or share with a friend who needs to hear it. Because sometimes all it takes is one stubborn person standing their ground to change the rules for everyone. And who knows, maybe that person is you. So after everything, let me ask, where do we draw the line between enforcing the rules and abusing power? At what point does order become oppression? I'd love to know what you think.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.